welcome to Midnight Slumber. I am your host, Zach Miller. Join me as we take a journey through the alternate realities that take place after midnight. This week, our story is about a family vacation involving a treasure hunt. However, this treasure hunt becomes a battle for their lives. Enjoy the story, Vacation Rental. The sun's rays peek through the early morning clouds, causing everyone to stir. I stretch, trying to wake myself up, when my foot bumps the dog, causing them to jump off the couch. I jump in response to the dog as my bare foot touched their cold nose. I lift my hand to block the sunlight from my already blurry vision. As I look around me, I am not the only one who fell asleep in this living room. My brother is fast asleep in a recliner, while some of the older kids are asleep on the floor in their brightly colored sleeping bags. My brother's old, chunky beagle moves throughout the room. It steps on all the kids, causing them to wake in pain. As they begrudgingly wake up, I hear a door fling open, and two very excited kids come running into the room. Both run up and jump in my arms, asking me, their father, if they can go down to the beach now. I laugh with them, as the sun has just come up, and tell them that they need to get ready if they want to go. My wife comes into the room and tells me that she and my sister-in-law have already prepared for that. I look back at my son and daughter and see that they do have their bathing suits on. I guess in my tiredness, I overlooked what they were wearing. I tell them I will get ready in just a second. I grab my swimsuit out of my small suitcase, which is pushed up against the back of the couch. As I finally stand, looking behind me, the small kitchen, just behind the sofa, has a set of glass double doors that reveal a fantastic sunrise on the beach. I watch waves splash next to palm trees of immense size as the sun slowly rises. A door slams shut behind me, and I turn to see that our oldest daughter has gone into the bathroom to change. I step out into the hall, hoping to grab that one before anyone else does, so that I can change too. However, my niece sprints by me, slides into the hallway bathroom in her footy pajamas, and slams the door shut while she laughs at me. I decide maybe I will change in one of the bedrooms, but again, the other two older kids sprint into the two rooms and shut the door before I can get to either one. My brother, now awake, laughs, says I should have been smart about it and just put them on last night before I fell asleep. I look at him out of the corner of my eye, knowing he's right. He only packed swim trunks that look like regular shorts. A knock comes from the main door in the hallway. I turn towards it, and the dog barks, wagging its tail. It knows who's behind the door, even though we can't see to the other side. I open the door slowly, and our parents come rushing in. Even some of our friends follow in behind them. They greet me and go straight into the main living area, where my brother begins to tell them how we all fell asleep to the movie they had suggested. I try to hold back a laugh as a shocked look crosses one of our friends' faces. Apparently, they really liked the movie. However, his wife pipes up and says she told us it was boring. I decide while everyone is changing that I can just change down at the hut on the beach. I grab the towels, flotation devices, and some of the food they will want and need. My mother and father chime in to help, and my brother entertains everyone else. I grab some of the water bottles out of the fridge and put them into a cooler. The dog trots up and drops his slobber-covered tennis ball on top of the stuff. I pat the dog on the head, put his ball into the towels basket next to me, and use a dirty towel to wipe the drool off everything. As I shut the top of the cooler, everyone comes into the kitchen saying they are ready to go. I double-check to make sure everyone is there, and they are. So we slide the double glass doors open, and a nice warm breeze brushes against us. The beach air smells fantastic. Stepping out onto the concrete patio, I almost fall into a giant orange water slide. This slide connects to our deck and all the other residents who are vacationing here. It twists and turns all the way down to the beach, which is 15 stories below us. My brother, who is more than eager to slide down this, grabs one of the floats and towels off my shoulder and jumps feet first into the steep slide. The kids immediately follow after him, trying to beat him to the bottom. The slide does split a ways down, letting us pick which direction we would like to go. Even my parents jump ahead of me. My wife kisses me on the cheek as she grabs the cooler from me. She gracefully gets in and waves by. It's at this moment I realize I am the last to go. I step into the orange circle and, holding tight to our basket of towels and sunscreen, I jump down into the slide. I miscalculate the jump, so I go a story down before my body touches. Thankfully, the slide is steep enough that I don't slam down on it. Instead, it catches me and begins to twist. I can see some of my family has already made it to the bottom. My wife is just ahead of me, and I am catching up. The slide splits ahead into 3 different directions, and my wife takes the one to the right. I figure I will go straight down the middle to see where it goes, but before I get the chance, the slide drops, sending me careening down a hidden path. This path goes dark, as this part of the slide is enclosed. I can feel myself getting disoriented with every turn. At one point, the slide inverts on itself, causing me to go upside down briefly. After that, the slide becomes less violent and more relaxed. The angle of descent dramatically decreases, and I slow as I go down a very shallow and long tunnel. The slide opens up for me to see blue light glowing on the brick and mortar above, before I come to a stop in the basement of this building. I sit up to see a basement no bigger than a 3-car garage. The floors are concrete, and some thin wooden supports run down the middle. They are way too thin to even hold up a 2-story building, but somehow they are holding up this massive place. Along the far left wall are garage doors that are cracked open just a couple of feet. They are tilted inward as if they are waiting for something to come in. Darkness leaks through the small openings and the windows. I can see that it is nighttime down here. I hear rustling from the outside, and a long dog crawls in from under the doors. As the dog stands, it extends its neck, showing off a very thick black mane that runs only from the top of its head down to its shoulders. The rest of the dog has patches of black and white, like a Dalmatian. However, it is not that type of dog. Its ears are pointed and long, its tail is the length of half its body with a black ball of fur that tapers off like a flame. The dog is bigger than I am, and its head reaches somewhere in the 7 feet range. This terrifying yet majestic looking hound looks down at me and sits. As I lock eyes with it, I know it's my dog. Its white and black eyes stare deep into mine, and I know it wants out. I turn to look behind me and see a set of stairs leading upward out of here. The steps are cracked and damaged from old age, but are made of a thicker cut of wood than the pillars, which gives me some hope. Also, at the top of the stairs is a dirty wooden door with sunlight pouring in through the opening, as the door isn't fully shut. We begin ascending the steps, which creak and moan under our weight. As I push the door aside, I step out onto a stone platform with a very bright medieval oil lantern hanging from the stone wall to my left. This must be the light source that I thought was the sun. The reason I say this is that in front of us is a massive cave system. Blue glowing lights illuminate the darkness, showing that this system runs for miles and miles, fading deep into the fog. We continue to walk forward on the stone path away from the door. The route extends out over a deep drop. This drop is at least 100 feet down, and I can see the bottom. Jagged rocks and holes that look to be filled with green glowing liquid cover the cave floor. Ahead of us is a gap of about 10 feet with a 10-foot drop. It's another stone path held up by massive pillars that extend to the cave floor. This path goes on for a couple 100 yards, and at the end of it, I see what looks like a treasure chest. My dog kneels next to me. and I know he wants me to climb onto his back. I step over him and grab hold of his mane. He stands, taking a few steps back, and then in one mighty motion, jumps forward, clearing the gap and racing towards the chest at the end of this path. In almost no time, we reach the gold-covered chest. I hop down and lift the lid. Inside it is a bright green gemstone the size of an ostrich egg. I reach in and pull it out, holding the glowing gem. A loud hum of music begins to play, and the cave begins to shake. I go to put the gem back, but a skull's head inside the chest speaks.
It is yours to keep and prevent the evil from reaching the surface.
The chest slams shut, and I turn towards my dog. He is facing away from me, looking down at the cave floor and growling. I peer over and see the green glowing liquid bubbling. Skeletons are climbing out of these holes and are making their way up the stone pillars. The door we once came through retreats, hiding behind a stone wall. My dog looks up at me, and I hop on its back. We both know if these creatures get this stone, it will bring them life, and they will be able to reach the surface and destroy everything above. More rumbling occurs as stone pathways lower from the ceiling. There are multiple pathways to go now, but I am unsure which to take. My dog takes off, sending us straight down our path. Either pathway that we take, we must be prepared to fight. These skeletons will gladly take our lives to gain theirs. Thank you for listening to tonight's episode. Please leave a comment and check out our social media on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. We would love to hear your thoughts of tonight's episode. I'm your host, Zach Miller, and thanks for listening. Have a good midnight slumber.